You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Welcome to another Workshop Wednesday. It's all about casual conversations for serious workflows, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where it's learning QuickBooks your way. Today, oh my goodness, this is just a horrible experience. I'm sorry.
Why? What's happening?
I scheduled the session for midnight.
Whoops.
I'm in a different time zone. And when I scheduled it, which is normally at 1 p.m. Eastern time, so that I don't have this problem, but for some reason I must have scheduled it for 1 a.m. And so I got an email.
I don't like to travel out of my time zone.
Yeah. I got an email. I was looking at my email this morning and it was like, your event is about to go live. I'm like, what do you mean it's about to go? So I had to change the scheduled time, and I appreciate that the people that are watching are adjusting, but during the little intro video, I was looking for the Facebook feed to show up in my page so I could send it to the Facebook group that we have, and it's not there. And then I noticed that I didn't enable that channel.
But it was on my calendar at the right time.
I don't know how that happened.
Because it's your link that goes on my calendar, so I don't know what you did. But I like your glasses.
Thank you. Maybe I'm just a little bit too hippie of when I did all this. So
no, I like them. They're cool.
Yes. Yeah, they're pair eyewear, so I can actually remove them.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I can be serious Dan, fun Dan.
John is asking, where are you? Where on earth are you?
Yes, I am outside of Chicago. This weekend, my wife, after her surgery, she is going to be doing a 5K.
Wow.
It's a walking thing, but she had her ankle fused a little bit over a year ago. So this is a big thing. The group that she's involved with, they have meetups, and one happened to be in the Chicago area. So this weekend, we're going to be heading into Chicago to do that. It'll be really cool.
Well, that's how I don't have a fused ankle, and that's how I would do it.
There we go. So today, now that we've got all of our unpleasantries to take care of, or formalities, and again, appreciate you all joining us here today. And Rachel, it's good to see you. Today, we're going to be talking about some new updates with QuickBooks Online Accountant. Now, we have a course on School of Bookkeeping all about, I'm going to put the QR code here in case you want to check it out, but I'm going to share my screen here. We've already got this course available in School of Bookkeeping. You can check it out for a 30-day free trial, but it's all about what is QuickBooks Online Accountant, how do you manage clients, the team. There's a little pro advisor lessons in there.
Oh my gosh, why didn't I know about this when I first got my QBOA a long time ago? I had such a hard time because and maybe you can talk about this later, but I was already using an Intuit product called Mint, which I think is gone now.
Yeah.
And so when I first got QBOA, it was like, you can log in using your Intuit account. But I don't think that meant for the accountant version. I think that meant for if you were just like a regular user, you could log into some of their other products using that same login. And I think it derailed me for 2 years. I had problems for a really long time. So I'm telling you, this is, if anybody's new to getting QuickBooks Online Accountant, and maybe you can even describe what that is, like, please take this course.
Yeah, so this is again the fundamentals of QuickBooks Online Accountant, or QBOA, as we abbreviated it. But now that there's QuickBooks Online Advanced, there is a second QBOA out there. So we want to be specific what we're talking about when we talk about QBOA. I would always get a little sidetracked because the first time that it was launched in 2013, we have these water cooler discussions add into it, and somebody called in and said, tell me about this QBOA. What is this QBOA all about? I was like, it's going to suck the life out of you. No. But in this course, we have all the accounting tools that you have, like the prep for taxes, the reclassify transactions, void deleted. So those are already there. So today, what we're actually going to be talking about is some of the new enhancements that Intuit has rolled out, that just for accountants or the QuickBooks Online Accounting. And to answer your question is, what is QBOA? It is an online accountant portal so that you can, as a bookkeeper, a pro advisor, or an accounting professional that has QuickBooks Online clients, you can use that as your launch pad to be able to access your QuickBooks Online clients, but also manage your own books and firm in that as well, because Intuit was nice enough to provide accountants with a free QuickBooks Online Advanced company ID or company, so that they can track their own books, right? With the whole idea of, hey, if you're managing your own books in QuickBooks Online, it'd be real easy to add and refer and add clients into that same thing, same realm. Didn't start out that way.
So what you're saying is, like, for an accountant user, or maybe somebody new getting a QuickBooks Online Accountant, there's somewhere specific that they can go within the Intuit world, and or online somewhere, and they can sign up very specifically for QuickBooks Online Accountant. And in that, they get an actual instance of QBOA Advanced.
Yep.
That they don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
Yay! That was a rhetorical question. I already used mine, but. And I have to say, I love it. I love using Advanced as my accountant portal. It's great. And I have been so busy lately that I haven't really had a chance to poke around some of the newer features. So I'm really excited to hear.
And there's links and lessons on how to sign up and do those things. The thing is that you do not have to provide any credentials, that you are an accountant or bookkeeper or know anything about accounting, which is a double-edged sword, right?
It's something.
Yeah. I mean, but when you do that, then of course you have access to the Pro Advisor benefits of being able to take the training, certification courses, and all of those things that are in there, presumably, so that you start, if you don't know anything about being a Pro Advisor, that will start you off on the right foot.
Yeah, and it gives you access to Intuit's Learning Center, where you can essentially take all kinds of courses. And even there's a lot more now than when I first started 6 years ago. There are even courses on tax, beginning fundamentals. There's all kinds of stuff in there that they provide. It's really neat as part of that. Or actually, sorry, do you have to become a pro advisor before you get access to those trainings or tutorials, or does your QBOA accountant give you access to that?
Yeah, they front load that information. You just need to be able to sign in in order to get into the portal, and you will have access to all of the trainings that are available to you as an online pro advisor.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
You don't see the desktop stuff, right? Unless you have that desktop add-on, but you'll be able to take those online courses that deal with QuickBooks, the QuickBooks Online ecosystem right away. So
yeah,
it's a great way to jump in to the QuickBooks Online ecosystem as an accountant. Now, because they don't ask you, or you don't have to provide any credentials, right? There's nothing stopping anyone from signing in and becoming a QuickBooks Online pro advisor.
Do we want to get into that topic?
I do want to mention this because that was always the conversation. There was like, how do we stop non-accountants from becoming, or just signing up for free and getting a free subscription?
Yeah. Saying I'm an accountant, woohoo!
Yeah. So the way that there was a lot of different attempts to try to do that. Okay, you have to have X amount of clients, right? As invited accountants, or you have to create so many QuickBooks Online subscriptions, or this whole thing with the points, right? So there's a whole lot of different ways, right? And right now, the way that they're doing that is that you have to have at least one client on your as an invited accountant, and we'll talk about some of the new changes with getting invited as part of our topic today. But as long as you have one client, one paying client that's not you, right, then what will happen is you'll be able to use your books and all the things that they give you for free as a QBOA user, right? But if you don't, what'll happen is you'll see some functionality get limited, right? Where you won't be able to email out QuickBooks or things like that. So you may see some limitations of things that you can't do, and you'll maybe see some messages, but once you have a paid client on your firm, then you'll be able to unlock all of that. Even to the point where it's as simple as a ledger client, right? Like you could create your own QuickBooks ledger account, and then that's an account, or that's a client, according to Intuit. So let's jump right into being inviting and the changes about that. So there's always, Rachel, you're a great example, because your invitations for getting your accountant invitation is a different email address than what you typically use on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah, because that's what I mean is I had a lot of confusion when I first originally signed up in 2019. I was using this Mint product, which is it was like for tracking personal finances. And I guess Intuit doesn't use that anymore, provide that anymore. But I wanted to sign up for accountant. And so I thought, oh, I'm already an Intuit user. I guess I have to use that email address. And so that's how my personal email address that I was using with Mint got stuck in my QBOA. And then, as we know, many accountant users know this, is that once that original email address is there, don't dare change that, because I've got lots and lots of clients associated with my QBOA. And so I didn't want to get rid of that email address. You showed me how to create basically a dummy login because what happened was as clients were trying to send invites to that original email address, and I think something got messed up along the way, and it took me a really long time to get this all sorted out with all of the Intuit products because I was using many of them. And man, it was fun. And by fun, I mean the opposite. But we ended up getting it worked out. But yeah, now there's a few different workarounds that you can do. And man, you really know all of those. But you can have a potential client invite you to basically a dummy email address that's associated with your email account. I mean, your Intuit account. And then that, I've been doing that for a couple of years now. That works perfectly.
Yeah. So what Rachel is referring to is that depending on how long you've been using QuickBooks Online Accountant and how long you've been using Intuit products, you can certainly have crisscrossing of Intuit logins and who needs to be invited and how you need to be invited and team members and those sorts of things. Because back in 2013, when QBOA was originally first launched, there was no team. There wasn't a team member and those types of concepts.
Gotcha.
So the growth of QuickBooks Online Accountant and the firms that are using it and the access has gotten us to where we are today. And along the way, they've tried various different things. And we talk about it a little bit in the course about being a lead accountant and team member and what access that you have available. So in the grand scheme of things, when your client who is not your client, you talk to them, you're now, okay, I'm going to need to access your books as part of your engagement to either do a diagnostic or we're going to set up your company because it's a mess or whatever. They have to invite you, right?
Yes.
And that invitation ultimately goes to someone at your firm, at your team. It could be you. It could be you as the primary admin. It could be one of your team members, but they become what's called the lead accountant.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get a designation as just for that client interaction, as they're the lead person, they're the lead contact inside of your books. And then in order for that to be that client to be deleted, someone with access, typically the lead accountant would be able to delete them, right? Or they're just designated. The challenge that comes up is, who do you invite? Because in your case, info@netdeposited is your main email address that you want all of your invitations to come to, but that could be because if they send an email to Rachel@netdeposited.com, then things are going to get off the rails.
Yeah. It's really weird because there was an issue with me not getting the invites even, but now I seem to be getting them all over the place. Why can't they just be consistent? If it's not going to work, just keep it not working.
So now enter today, right? The ability for clients to invite your firm and not invite a user.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So I was playing around with it today to prepare for this sort of thing and created a scribe to boil things down here. So now, and this presumably, of course, there's going to be some confusion about the new way to do things, right?
Yeah, and is it only in new subscriptions?
No.
I'm going to look at it right now.
I don't know. Right. So I've got it here. So let me go ahead and share.
Yeah, I want to see. Okay. Put my glasses
along here.
See anything.
Right. So you can now get invited and accept invitations by firm ID.
Okay.
Basically, the firm ID is your company ID for your firm as a QBOA user, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Is it that long, really long number?
Yes.
Okay.
Why can't I make this bigger? Because I'm not on the right monitor. There we go. There we go. So this first screen is what the client would do, right? So they would go to the gear and then click manage users, right, to get to see that. And then this is when I've walked people through inviting accountant users, they never see this accounting firms.
Never. Never. It drives me crazy.
Because they'll just be here on okay, I'll click on invite user.
Yeah, I get that all the time. And then I have to explain to them that's useless.
That is the caveat here. And I'll make this shareable so that people could send this to their clients. But they need to click on accounting firms, and then what they'll see when they go to invite, so they'll see this green button over here on the right side to invite, and then now they'll see the two options, right? Enter my accountant's email, which is here at the top where they have to put in first name, last name, and email address. So that's of course where you, Rachel, would have to say, hey, make sure you invite info at net deposited, not Rachel at info or net deposited, or anybody else for that matter. They would just click on this option here of enter my firm's ID. And then there's a help bubble in there to give them an idea of what is that. So then you would just enter the firm ID of the accounting firm that you wish to invite. And then if they didn't provide it to you, like if the accountant didn't provide it to you, I provided a link of how to get that, right? And then once you paste it in there, I got to update this screenshot because it's not really much to look at. You click save, and then of course you may have to you'll likely get an MFA code, because anytime that you add a user to your QuickBooks, they want to make sure that that's supposed to be happening. So you'll probably get an MFA code to do all that. And then what they'll end up seeing is they'll see the firm ID, and that user is listed as invited, right? So now what happens is that you, Rachel, you would get an email saying that your client has invited you. Now here's what I do.
Like a regular invitation.
Right, just like a regular invitation. Now here's what I don't know, because I didn't get a chance to check it out. Because what happens is when you go into QBOA, let me edit. I wish we could see the whole thing. You'll see, okay, so right now you'll see this client list and client invitations in your QBOA.
Yeah.
When you click on client invitations, you'll see this list right here, and it'll say pending. So you don't have to go through this whole gyration of making sure you're accepting it with the right email address and those types of things.
Yeah.
It should. Here's
the browser issues that come along with the email invitation, and yeah. Exactly. Oh, that's cool.
Here's what should happen. You should be able to just see the invitation in the firm.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do over here is just click on the little actions buttons of accept inside your QBOA. So you don't have to go through this whole accept the invitation process.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry to interrupt you, but does it say, oh, never mind. I was just going to say, is there an expiration? But I can see it.
Yeah. It will expire in 30 days.
By the way, Dan, Ledger Artist is saying that there's something wrong with the audio. Like they can hear me, or I don't know. And not you, or you and not me. I don't know.
Rachel, I can't hear Dan. Okay, so let me see here. I do have the ability to...
Is it because I'm yelling?
Maybe. I don't know. How's that?
When I'm talking in this tone and my kids say to stop yelling at them?
Let us know if this is any better. Also, I can make sure that I am
Oh, I know. And ledger artists, yes. We've actually changed our whole entire process just because of that must give access to the books. And I usually always go above and beyond and say, you can kick me out anytime. It's just to take a look under the hood. I'm really unable to give a quote, even for cleanup work, unless I'm invited in there. And even sign an NDA and all kinds of different things. But we've completely changed. Oh, Jamie's here. Because of Jamie, we've changed due to a really great suggestion from her that we got from Scaling New Heights. We're changing our whole thing just so they don't have to invite us in sight unseen or unknown, because I get it. It's a little dodgy. Here you go, stranger, go in and look at my private financial information, because you don't even know if somebody is competent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point. And there's always there's potentially that friction.
Yeah. Although that's why it's up to a potential new client to really do their due diligence and really get feedback and reviews, or look at somebody's Google reviews, or look to see if this person is reputable. Because it's a concern. I totally understand.
Yeah, and I usually try to set their mind at ease that I'm not going in there to make any changes. As a matter of fact, you'll be able to see all of my breadcrumb trails of everything that I've done in the audit log.
Yeah.
So you will see that, and if you see anything that says edited, right, then that's something that
you
want to talk about.
Something was amiss.
But you're going in there presumably just to look around.
And we do. Whenever we go in, we don't touch a thing. It's just to look.
Yeah, run the reports, run a balance sheet and profit loss, or whatever it is that you need to do to get enough information to see what you're in for before being able to quote for services.
But that is such a good idea, though, that Ledger Artist gave, of a view books invitation, which is really just like a read-only maybe thing. I wonder if they've taken that into consideration before.
So that's a good point here. So I'm going to go into a sample company here. And this is like the challenge, right? As in inviting a user, if I go into manage users and I go to add a new user, roles, you can choose
to do that too.
View company reports, right? So you do have the ability, they do have the ability to do that. However, you as an accountant user would not be able to see any of the accountant tools, because you would be invited as a non-accountant at that point.
Yeah.
If there is a view company reports as an accountant, that might be the solve. So you could be able to see those tools like the client overview and the books review and those types of things as an accountant user. But, be able to
you could literally just look at financials, which is a huge part of it with what we do. We really need to look at those. But I also want to look at how many transactions are sitting in the bank feed and things like that there's a lot that goes into it. And especially when a potential client says, oh, it's all caught up. It's great. It's fine. Jamie?
Exactly.
Yeah, we're like, I'll be the judge of that.
So if you want to provide your potential client with your company ID, if you go into clients on the left side and click on client invitations, your firm ID is going to be listed there. And they give you an option to copy it. So you can copy and paste it into an email and say, hey, just this is how you do this. Invite me to this firm ID, and then you'll be able to then process that, but just by clicking on accept.
I'm doing it that way from now on. Taking that on.
Yes. we'll expect a full report by next week on how well that worked or didn't, because you may still need to go through the accept invitation in order for it to show there as pending.
Yeah.
In order for that. But I was thinking that once they invite you, it should just show up there. But that would be cool if you don't have to go through the iterations of doing that. But once you accept it, then it'll just say it's been added to your client list, and then you can add team members to it. And then what they see now in their books, back in their user, that you're active, and you'll be able to. Whoa, what is going on?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit there, Dan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's good.
Just to repeat there, because I don't know if it got garbled out there, but they'll be able to see once you've accepted that you're listed there as active, and then they can delete you at that point as necessary. So that's different and new. So hopefully that is an improvement.
Yeah, I like that a lot because, like I said, I usually have to have them send the request to a specific email, and then I forget, and then I have to email them back and say, oops, I meant this one. And it's just, I'm trying to reduce the amount of mistakes that are coming out of my mouth and hands.
And another new thing is this client number that you're able to associate with your clients on your client list. I was thinking, and I thought it would be in the client, in your books, right? You'd have a field somewhere to be able to, I gotta find one from editing these sample companies here. If I go in and edit the customer in here, I thought there would be a field called client ID, but oh no.
So what does that client, what does that client number field mean? Can you make it mean anything you want?
You can, but in your client list, so there's a difference between the client list. So everything that's up above here in your practice and what's down here in your books is separate, right? So the only thing that links between the two is your client list and your customer list in your books. So they added this ability to create a client number, but it doesn't go into your books at all. Right? So
it's not for the purpose of that little chart right there.
Exactly. So when
did you just type right in that client number field? Is that what you do?
Oh, no. So if I'm going to edit a client, right? So if I just go ahead and edit this client here for Al's Liquor Store, I now have a field in here for client number.
Okay.
And you can do that as you're creating the customer, or creating the subscription, or after the fact, after you've accepted the invitation, if you want to have your own numbering system in your firm or practice to be able to see that here. Now,
I know Al's Liquor Store is definitely not in Michigan because they don't say liquor store here, they say party store.
Party.
Al's has got to be in a state where they say liquor store.
And then there is this beta test that's going on where you can streamline your client list, which doesn't have the ability to show that client ID.
Oh, that's weird.
So you have to be on the old unstreamlined or the non-beta in order to see. You would click on the customized columns, and lo and behold, you have one more column that you can see.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, side note to that too is that we've recently learned a couple different firms that have, with glitches, I don't know how or why, they've lost all of their clients connected to their QBOA. In order to rectify that, you'd want to know the client ID of all of your associated clients. And we actually got all of those and stored them in a separate spreadsheet. But hold on, wait a second. If we didn't have access to any of our clients anymore, what would be the whole point of listing them in that client number? You'd want them saved outside of QBO.
Yeah, this is just for client number for your own numbering system. So you have an account number that you
your own number. That's what I was asking. Sorry.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay, so you're not obligated to just use their client ID.
Yeah.
That's not what that field is for.
Yeah.
It's for an internal. Okay.
It's not the company ID from Intuit. It is the firm ID, like we were talking about with the invitation. This is just something that you want to call your customer.
Gotcha.
Account number. So if somebody, and this is sortable, right? So if you want to sort by the client number on this client list, you can. But from what I've seen so far, this is the only place you'll see it.
Yeah, so it's not like you can tie it to if you were using some timesheet app and you were creating some connection using a client number. But but what I was saying though is, just as an aside, it is helpful to know or keep a list of all of your clients' specific client ID. You know, that Malong number. What's it called? They're Intuit, or their company file ID or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case, yes. You certainly can put it in there.
Yeah.
But of course.
But if your QuickBooks crashes and all of a sudden they're not attached anymore, then that doesn't do anything.
That doesn't help, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just make sure I've got, so this is the custom client IDs that we were talking about. We've talked about the invitation process. And we've talked about the existing course that we have here. Is there any questions that you have, Rachel, that you've seen in QBOA that you want to talk about?
No. I like any advancements to QBOA. The one thing that I don't love as much is when they make the changes visually, like with the new bank feed, where it used to be like the same font size for the dollar amount on top and the dollar amount on bottom. And now with the font size big on top and little on the bottom, my eyes don't see the two comparisons as well. And that's more of the stuff that I take issue with, because I want to be able to see things more clearly. But if they're adding features like this, please, by all means.
Right. Now, what I would love to see is this client number show up as a field inside the customer, inside of your books, right? Which that's one of the things for a lot of customers or a lot of businesses that are out there. They track their customers by number.
Yeah, and if you're using a time tracking app, that would be also very helpful to do that as well.
Yeah, and if you use that as the display name, that number, then that will then show up here on the client contact information. So now you don't know the name of the customer, right, by looking at it. So it's a catch-22. Like, you can't use it for the display name. But you could
do that. That would be a good idea, though, if, let's say, you have sensitive clients or you have famous clients or something like that, and like you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then if you've got internal people that are working on some things, maybe they don't even see the name of the actual client. They're just seeing a code number.
Exactly. So you certainly could do that. Appreciate you joining us today and struggling through all of the technical issues of glitches and all those things. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time on the Workshop Wednesday. And that wraps up another insightful episode of Workshop Wednesday, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and took away some valuable tips and strategies to enhance your bookkeeping practice. Remember, if you want to stay ahead in the world of bookkeeping and accounting, Be sure to visit schoolofbookkeeping.com. With a wide range of courses, resources, and expert guidance, you'll find everything you need to sharpen your skills and boost your career. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content every week. If you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover, reach out to us on social media or send us an email at support@schoolofbookkeeping.com. We love hearing from our listeners and are always looking for new ideas to explore. Thanks for tuning in to Workshop Wednesday. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep excelling in your bookkeeping journey. I'm Dan DeLong, and we'll see you next week.